Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. We're going to jump on the whiteboard. We're going to talk about Newcastle and Arsenal as the big one this Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. I'm doing the double header. I'm doing the women, then the men straight after. But we're going to jump on the whiteboard, talk about tactics and see if you agree or disagree. So let's get going and we'll start off with Newcastle. Right everyone, so I've gone with 4 at the back, but we are going to do another one in a second with 5 at the back. Because don't be too surprised that even at St James's Park that he plays with wing back. So if it's a 4, Malik Chow will come in for Fabian Schär. Now there hasn't been a great deal in news about his concussion, but protocols, I believe he will miss. This will be his final game that he has to miss. So of course Malik Chow will come in. Usual midfield 3. Great to see Joe Linton amongst the goals in midweek. Anthony Gordon back from suspension. Obviously he played against Bradford in the League Cup. Valdemar I think will come in. Unfortunately Willisula did score 2 goals, but I think he'll go back to the bench. I reckon he'll go Langa because what he said about Murphy and he's managing his load, I reckon Langa who will start because Murphy has an Achilles problem. Also, Livramento left back rather than Lewis Hall because Eddie Howe did say that Lewis Hall has played 2 games in a week, so it's likely as he's managing his fitness coming back, it'll be the back 4 of Trippier, Chow, Byrne, Livramento. Yes, we'll look at the wing-backs in a second. Obviously, Nick Pope will continue in goal. He's had a good start the season. Don't see any reason why you would replace him with Ramsdale, a former Araguna as well. But the key things for me, and I'm going to go straight to it, is I think it's the midfield 3. I think that midfield 3 is up there with any midfield 3 in the Premier League. We know that the Arsenal game always comes with competitiveness. So you are probably expecting Arsenal to maybe target Joe Linton's temper. If you're betting man, there's no doubt about it. He's going to get a yellow card. It's just written for him. But I want to see Anthony Gordon run at their fullbacks, and I want to see Langa test because I believe it might be Calafiori at left back potentially. I want to see Langa use his pace and just try and burn him if he can. I think the back 4. I think Chow has settled in pretty well. I seen somewhere that he's one of the flops of the early season, and I was like, how can he be a flop? He's just played 2 class games. So weird. But yeah, Trippier, Chow, Byrne, Livramento, great to see Dan Byrne come back in as well. He'll be up for it as well in the face. Look, I think it will be aggressive once more. I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. We want to see Tonali get on the ball. We want to see him play make as well. Voldemar is an interesting one because, again, Eddie Howe was talking about, he sees him as a number 9 and he's going to work with him when the time comes right because there's a game every 3 days for Newcastle at the minute. They haven't got enough time to work with him for basically staying in the box, a 6-yard box, Fox in the box, rather than having to, because he likes to drift out here and pick the ball up and then, play people in and stuff like that. That's his game, and he's very clever at close control and getting past 1 or 2 players. So don't be too surprised if he still does that, don't get me wrong. But Anthony Gordon, what a performance on him. Want to see him cut in, run. It'll probably be, Timber would have thought. But there's your Newcastle 4, but I actually think it'll be wing-backs. So let's switch it up to the wing-backs. Right, wing-backs then. Okay, Chow, Botman will come in. Byrne, Livramento left. Trippier, right wing-back. Usual midfield 3 of Tonali, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, obviously Nick Pope in goal. But I think Gordon will be tucked in. This is probably the one that might surprise us. He has done it before, because I think you'll have Gordon tucked in, in support of Valdemar if he goes with the 5 at the back or 3 at the back, whichever way you look. I see it as 5 at the back with Valdemar because they're similar and they can interchange these 2. And the link-up play would be interesting to see. I can't see Gordon hanging over. I think it will without the ball. Don't get me wrong. I think Gordon will come out here and try and find spaces because that's what Joe Linton likes to do as well. But in honesty, I think Gordon will be playing just off Valdemar and it'll be up to Tino Livramento to do the work. Now, Livramento's got that in his locker. He's brilliant at bringing the ball forward. And I think he's so underrated doing that. I would like to see him be a little bit more cutthroat in the final third because he seems to be a little bit worried about taking a shot. Take some more shots to get in some brilliant positions just outside the box. I want to see him shoot on sight. He's definitely got something in his locker that he can do that. And I think Trippier won't be as bombing on as much as Livramento on the right-hand side. So, again, you might see Tonali just coming over to support him because as I call him, lungs. He's got the lungs, he's got the ability, and don't be too surprised that Tonali just drifts occasionally out on the right-hand side in support of Kieran Trippier, whose delivery will be really, really crucial, especially with set pieces as we are. And that's what I think, and obviously we want these, as I say, to keep the heads, don't lose it. I'll even circle line Dan Byrne as well, because if you're betting on yellow cards, it's all them, isn't it? But that's what I think Newcastle will go with if Eddie Howe goes with 5 at the back. if you agree that it's 5 at the back or wing backs, whatever, where do you see Gordon playing? Get in the comments then. Where do you see him play? Do you see him just playing off Valdemade, or do you see him being switched out to the left? But if we're doing that, then who's over the right-hand side then? Are you pulling one of these midfield 3 out and maybe put a Langan Murphy over here? I don't see that, but let me know how you feel. Right then, so that was Newcastle United. Let's talk about Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal, as I mentioned earlier, don't have a great record here. However, they have squad depth in abundance. Yes, they've got a few injuries, which obviously they're not going to make the list, obviously. But let's get on and let's talk about the Gunners. So yeah, we've got the Arsenal lineup, 4 at the back, 3 midfield, Eze left, Saka right, Gyökeres up top. Now, there is a few injury concerns. Madueke is out. Kai Havertz is out. Odegaard does return, but I actually going to say that he will start and he will be substituted later. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is out, and the new signing, Hinsape, is a good defender, is also ruled out. So this is what I think will be the Arsenal lineup. If I'm wrong, the system won't change though. So what we've got to be careful of is now obviously known for it is the set pieces. So we know that Declan Rice will take majority of the set pieces and they'll like to crowd inside that 6-yard box right at the back post. I don't know if they've still been doing that this season, but they did it heavily last campaign. Now, obviously, Saka's got an hour under his belt in midweek, so that'll be good for him. I think he'll probably start and be subbed later just to keep an eye on his fitness. But obviously, we know that he's a threat. We know that he's an England international. We know his quality as well. Interestingly, for people who don't know this, is his dad is a Newcastle fan and used to take Saka to Newcastle games as a kid. So there you go. These two are probably up there. If not, they're probably the best 2 pair in the Premier League, and I think you can rattle Gabriel. I think you can, and that'll be up to the likes of Joe Linton and stuff like that, because I reckon he can be got at. Now, as I mentioned, Valdemade will play, and then I mentioned before, you'll probably want to drift out. Now, if Valdemade does that, Gabriel and Saliba have got then the decision to do they follow him, pull out a position, or does Zubimendi come back and just help out and just, keep an eye on that? I think that's probably, or maybe Rice, to be example. Obviously, he scored a worldie. Maybe the keeper should have done better a couple of weeks back, but he scored a great goal as well. Riaz, obviously, a fantastic goalkeeper as well. And again, Calafiori, and I mentioned, can you get Elanga running at him? Because you don't want Calafiori going forward, you want him defending, so get Elanga running at him. Now, as I mentioned, midfield 3 against their midfield 3, that'll be a very interesting battle with them 3. If Newcastle can win the midfield, I think that's where the game's going to be won. If you win that midfield 3, stop them having the ball, Newcastle will win the game. So it's up to the 2 Brazilians and Tonali to do that as well. Obviously, we know that these have absolute quality, Saka and Eze. Gyökeres needs service. He has been criticised, but I think he will come good, And that Sesko's been criticised at Man U as well, but he's a striker that wants service. Given service, you'll score goals. So you just got to be wary with the supply, because there's no doubt about if Eze does play on that left-hand side and Saka on the right, that it's inverted, so they're going to come in. So the likes of Tino Livramento should be handling that fine, because obviously him being predominantly right-footed. Trippier's just got to be in conversation with Malik Chow on the left-hand side when they're coming in. So, look, it's an interesting battle, but I think, as I say, win that midfield 3 and Newcastle United go on to win the game for me. So, what do you reckon then? So there you go, everyone. Newcastle United versus Arsenal. I hope we get the 3 points. We've got a good record. We've won the last 3 St James's Park against them, League and Cup. That would be lovely. We can do the same. If you're an Arsenal fan, let me know how you feel. Who are our threats? Who are you worried about? Is it Gordon? Is it Joe Linton or Tonali? Arsenal fans, let me know. And of course, Toon fans, where do you see the threat coming from Arsenal then? Right, but if you can drop us a massive like, all the content across both of our channels, NFTV Extra and this one, Newcastle Fans TV, for both the women and the men, will be coming later on Sunday evening. So we'll see you soon for that. Drop us a massive like. Take care. Bye-bye.